production of Audi S started in 1990 with the S2 Coupe. It wasn't until 4 years later we received the RS2 Avant. Fast forward to 2007, we received the S5. Today, George from Audi of Clearwater has given us the 2022 Audi S5 Sportback Prestige Package in your Mythos Black Metallic. Refresh styling was done last year. New for this year, 19-inch wheel design. The interior will have a carbon fiber look with luxury appointed inside. Available convertible. S Sport package, we got it right here to show. Black optic package, we have that as well. Rivals as your BMW 430i, Genesis G70. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Ride, so we're going to go over all the specs and details, starting now. New S5 Sportback receives the black optic package, and it starts on Audi's single frame grille. In the interior with the honeycomb, you're going to get it with the matte black. On the exterior, it's going to have the gloss black, going straight into these matrix design LED headlamps with Audi laser and animation for your headlamp assembly. If you're comparing this to the BMW or the Genesis, I like the grille structure on this one a little bit better. It's not so much in your face. It's a little bit more disguised, especially with the black optic package. Blacked out Audi rings, and the only thing you're gonna see is the red behind that S5, so you're gonna have that stealth look in the front, which gives a mean stance, and it's gonna be wider, larger side curtains. 79.9 inches is the width. 54.5 inches tall. All those aerodynamic lines on the hood really proportion well, and it encloses over the fenders, set with 20-inch 5 double spoke polygon designed bicolored wheels. S Sport package adds the red brake calipers, a 13.8-inch ventilated front disc, 13 inches is the rear ventilated as well. Weight distribution at 56.7 to 43.3, comparing it to BMW 430i at 49.1 to 50.9, or Genesis G70 at 51 to 49. You're going to need that S Sport package so that way you can keep those dynamics, and it also adds the Sports Adaptive Damping System, the Sports Rear Differential for your Quattro all-wheel drive system, so that way you can handle those corners and you can take it a little bit more aggressive. A length at 184.9 inches, wheelbase at 108.8 inches. All the blacked out line aesthetics are going to be complements of that black optic package, starting on the side view mirror caps, on these side vents, and around all of those window trims. All the aerodynamic line structures stay nice and crisp all the way to your OLED rear taillights with animation. S rear bumper with the quad exhaust outlets, and I like the fact that we have that because nowadays with Audi lines they like to put them inside and just put a trim around it. Here we get the grille treatment that's going to be over it, and I like the design setup because it actually looks pretty aggressive for the Sportback slash hatchback. Going inside to your cargo is going to be the largest, comparing it to Genesis or BMW at 21.8 cubic feet. Storage is going to be on the side. LED lighting to look inside as well. You're going to have a spare tire underneath the floor. The rear bench split folds at a 40-20-40 split. But you know, we have a quad exhaust, we have an S. We got to hear that rumble of that turbocharge. Let's start it up and hear that exhaust note. performance and styling cues that you're getting from the exterior is what Audi is known for. The dynamics, the suspension layout, it's going to be more of a playful but yet an everyday vehicle, and they back this S5 Sportback with a 3.0 liter TFSI V6 turbocharged engine, producing 349 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque that's paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission or Tiptronic, achieving 21 to 30 mpgs. 0 to 60 will beat that Genesis G70 and the BMW 430i at 4.2 seconds. 0 to 100, 10.8 seconds. A quarter mile at 12.8 seconds, with the top speed at 153 miles per hour. I would not compare this against the Mercedes-AMG C63S because the price point to that is almost double, and the 0 to 60 is only like a second quicker. So when you think about that, you're getting such a bargain deal. The aesthetics and numbers, I like how Audi just drives forward and gives you the performance and styling for the exterior. Let me know in the comments what you think about the 2022 Audi S5 Sportback. As we go into the interior, go over the tech, and take this for our test run. Entering inside the Audi S5 Sportback, you're going to receive 37.8 inches of headroom, 41.3 inches of legroom. It's a black leather bucket front seats. Because of the warm weather package, it's going to delete the diamond stitch, the S Sport seating, and the massage seat function. We do have the heated and ventilated seats, 12-way power adjustment with manual cushion extensions for both the passenger and driver, memory for the driver. The seat setup in this, it's going to be a more of an everyday drive. So it's going to be a little bit less sporty, but more comfortable. If you're comparing it to BMW and Genesis, you're going to have a little bit less space in the front. Because of that Sportback, it's going to cut a little bit more in the rear, but you're going to see in just a few seconds. As for the dash, more sporty derived. I think it's a little bit more sporty than the G70 because the G70 just stresses more luxury, whereas the BMW 430i is kind of a good match. Quattro badging with that carbon fiber look inlays that go throughout the dash, and I like that they have this seamless vent look. It gives a retro look. Standing out of the dash is a 10.1 MMI touch response with navigation. We have the pinch. This has the swipe, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius XM, FM, and AM. Slide it over to the left and you have a 3 area where you can also rotate that around however you want to set it for quick taps. Click into your vehicle so you can go through the settings with the Audi Drive Select. You can go into the individual and you can change it the way you like for the drive, suspension, steering. Click into the driver assist and you can see all the safety settings in which we have in the vehicle. Switch it to reverse and you have full trajectory, whether front or rear. You can click on the lower area and you can see different viewpoints of that camera, and it is a lot of different viewpoints. Click into the steering wheel and that will be your park assist for your parallel and perpendicular parking. So you do have all the functionalities in which you need. It's very user friendly, which is a nice attribute as well, and you don't have to worry about a roller knob. Now there's a little storage area that you can put your phone. Cup holders, you can fit a 16.9 ounce water bottle, I'd say a 20 ounce max. Your driver mode select and your parking assist is going to be stationed right underneath your tri-climate control settings, your 12 volt, your USB. I like the gear lever and where it's located because you do sit very sport derived. So it's actually a little bit better, I would say, than the Genesis G70, only because that one's stressing more luxury. If you're looking for performance styling cues, this is what you're going to want. That's badging, that carbon fiber inlays, an area for your key fob. Open up inside here to some more storage and another USB. You can also adjust this to different settings. As for the elbows, it's going to be more sport derived, so a little bit more firm. Leather wrap, S Sport steering wheel with the perforated leather and the soft leather, multi-function heated paddle shifters. The gauge cluster is Audi's virtual cockpit. You can change the view to make it smaller or bigger. You can zoom in and out for your navigation. You can go through your audio, your telephone, and whatever you really need or desire. Heads-up display. So all the luxury, all the tech, it's all implemented as well. Door panel, harder materials on the top, one touch up and down for all of the windows. Storage is going to be a little bit tight. You could really only fit about 2 16.9 ounce water bottles. But a nice thing in this model is we have the Bang & Olufsen 3D sound, which is 20 speakers, 16 channel amplifier, and 755 watts. So you know what? When I get back there, you can hear it. And that's the best part about this sport-derived Sportback. Let's see how I look back there. For the back seats, I'm at 37 inches of headroom, which is about the same as the BMW 430i. It's going to be a little bit more than the Genesis G70. Leg space at 35.1 inches, which is going to be more than the Genesis G70. You're going to have storage behind both of the front seats, your third climate control, heated rear seats, 2 USB-C ports, and a 12-volt. The floor is not completely flat. The cup holders are going to be a little tight. You could probably fit a 20-ounce. It's a 16.9-ounce water bottle. Open up in here and you got a little storage that you could put your iPad or your smaller cell phone. Elbows are going to be pretty soft. Door panel, harder materials on the top. You're going to get that dark gloss with the carbon fiber look inlays, one touch up and down, and the storage is going to lack here a little bit. You could probably fit one, maybe two 16.9-ounce water bottles. It's going to be tight. You might have to squeeze it, but I mean, it feels pretty comfortable sitting here. Let's see how I look in the center. Sitting into the center, headroom is going to be an issue because I'm pretty much completely against it unless I sit like this, in which it would be pretty uncomfortable. So this light area here is going to be an issue. Leg space starts with the problem where the seats actually connect. So my feet or my toe area is pretty much right on it. As for the leg space, I'm completely against both of the front seats, whether in the position I'd be sitting in or even move back further. As for the butt and shoulder, it's going to be pretty tight. So fitting 3 back here for a long journey, I would not recommend it. But with any 4-door Sportback, you really only want to fit 2 back here, even though you have 3 charging ports. It's, I guess, for little kids. Not just that, but it's going to be more playful because you can use the armrest and you can sit a little bit more stationed and actually enjoy the ride. Taking the 2022 Audi S5 Sportback out for our test run. With this vehicle, it's going to sit a little bit low, but you actually sit a little bit higher up. So it's going to have a bit of a sporty, but because of the seat choice, you're going to have a luxury ride mix. So I do like that because it's not going to be so firm. Even though you have a sport tune suspension, it's still going to be very smooth because these seats are derived for that. So if we give it a little gas, this is the best part. She is ready to rock and roll. You get a good exhaust note. You can hear it as well. I do like that because when you get into some of the Audis, they filter out the exhaust notes so much that you can't hear nothing. And it's kind of a shame because you sometimes want to hear your turbocharged engine, especially when you give it a little go with the Tiptronic, playing with it. You want to hear the little cracks that come out of it. And it sounds really pleasant. It is still super quiet without any dual pane windows, so I do like that. As for the dynamics, you're going to stay relatively planted, even though the weight distribution isn't necessarily there, but it does help that we have that S Sport package, which is something that I would recommend. The black optic package, I like that as well because, you know, it gives those styling cues. Taking it up on the interstate, I'm going to downshift a couple just to show you, and it flies. Pushes you back pretty good too, comfortable. As you get up to a higher speed, it still stays pretty quiet. Upgraded wheels, so I am hearing noise through the wheel well area. As for looking through the front, the only thing that I would say is a disadvantage, the windscreen is kind of oval, but the A-pillars where they're at, because of that oval shape, it's not necessarily abnormal, but I get what they're doing. They're trying to maximize the availability of visual space, but it's always an eyesore. That's the only thing that I've noticed in the front. You continuously see that with the windscreen. So I get what they're doing with the styling cues, and you have to do a give and take with it. So I kind of understand what they're doing. As for the drive, it stays comfortable. So that is a nice thing too, because this is a sports car at the end of the day. And when you drive it all the time and purchase it, you're not gonna be driving it all the time fast. You're gonna be trying to relax and enjoy the drive. But because we're doing a test on the vehicle, we obviously have to do my number one thing I like to do, stop in the middle of the road. We're going to stop hard, downshift, and now we're gonna give it some go. And up to speed super quick. That exhaust note is really good. Stays pretty quiet. Going over any type of hardness in the road, it's going to soak it up at higher speeds. Lower speeds, you'll feel a little bit of the bump action, but for the most part, it's pretty good. It stays planted too when you're trying to take any corners, which we'll try to show you here in a few. But I mean, overall, I like how it feels. And I like that you can hear that exhaust note. As for changing it for an everyday driving, so we're going to put it in a comfort mode, which is what most people will be doing with this particular vehicle. You're not going to be driving it like that all the time, but I would recommend, because it's turbocharged, give it a little gas. As for looking in the back, blind spot areas are going to be more or less behind the rear seats. So something to take in consideration, but in the same attribute, you got blind spot monitoring. So you don't really have to worry with that. When you drive it on your everyday basis, the exhaust is going to be less throaty. You're not going to really hear it at all. You're going to be pretty composed. Probably listen to that Bang & Olufsen sound system. I mean, 20 speakers is freaking crazy in my book. There is 3 things I like and 3 things that I dislike. Is anything more than that, I'll be buying this vehicle. The 3 things that I like is the seat comfort and the ride comfort. Again, it's a sports car, and I don't feel like I'm dragging against the asphalt. I feel very smooth and luxurious. So comparing it to Genesis G70, it's a comfortable car. You got the cushion extensions, so it makes it even easier if you're a taller person like me with long legs. And if you're comparing it to BMW 430i, I think the suspension in this is going to be a little bit smoother, only because of the way we have the seat structure setting in it. The second thing that I like about the vehicle is the interior and exterior styling elements. The new updates for that carbon inlay look, it really gives that sporty design, yet a retro design as well, with the air vent structure. So they did a great job with the dash layout, and even with the black optic package, which is something I always recommend on all Audi brands, because it really just, it gives that nice aesthetic, and it highlights all of the areas in which you want to have highlighted. The last thing that I like about the vehicle is you can hear the exhaust. You have exhaust outlets. That's something that is getting uncommon these days. 3 things that I dislike is the weight distribution in this vehicle. You can get an Infiniti Q60 Red Sport 400 and it almost has the same weight distribution, which is a little bit, it's not discouraging, it's just you don't really expect that when you're getting to this higher price tier. Genesis G70, the BMW 430i, is going to have a better dynamic with the weight distribution, and I wish this had that because it's a higher price tier vehicle. The second thing that I dislike about the vehicle is the power. You have a single twin scroll turbocharged engine. Now, when you get into Infiniti, again, you'll get a twin turbo. When you get into the G70 Genesis, you're gonna get a twin turbo as well, and it still has a lot of power behind it. At least give us 400 horsepower so that way we can match them. The power is good, the 0 to 60 is good, it's just, and they're getting a lot of power out of underneath that little engine. It just, you know, 400 would be the ideal number for it, because I mean, in normal mode, you can see, look, you stay planted and you go forward. It's almost 370 pound-feet of torque, so that is a pretty good attribute. Going to check that turn radius, and we're gonna try to do it more or less at a stop point. You're gonna be getting about 2 lanes, and you can feel that Quattro helping turn, so it's nice. And giving it some gas, you can see it goes. The last thing that I dislike is this infotainment screen, and the reason why is because of the way they put it in the vehicle. It looks like they almost forgot to put it, and they just said, you know what, we're gonna tack it above the air vents. And everything is so retro / sporty designed, and then they just threw this here. The area here that was for the infotainment screen prior, they just opened it up for an area for your cell phone, which is fine. I like getting extra storage space, and I can deal with that. But if you're gonna do this, maybe make the system where the AC and the heated and ventilated seats, and even your driving modes, I hate to say it, all inclusive, because it would be a lot cleaner and less cluttered. When you have it in dynamic mode, it is a night and day driving difference. The experience changes dramatically, so it makes it a lot more fun and pleasurable. And you know, I can hear that note, which is what I like. And I mean, it is super nice. You get the little cracks when you let off, and you can still hear it, even though the sound dampening in the interior for Audi is excellent. I will say, for long journeys, this the way this is spec'd out is definitely the way to go. If you're looking to own the vehicle for more than 4 years, this is the way I would personally buy this S5 Sportback, because you have the power, you got the luxury for the seating, and you got the suspension, you got the S Sport package. It also helps with that Quattro rear differential, so it does help a little bit with the turn radius and offsetting the dynamics of the weight distribution. And I mean, look, just that's all I can say. I mean, you're gonna pass every single person, 0 to 60 in the low 4 seconds. So it's super quick. It beats the Genesis G70. It beats the BMW 430i. And I mean, you have the dynamics at the end of the day, because Audi makes sure that if they messed up something, they fix something else. So all the components lay in line to give you that sport ride. I'd like to thank George here at Audi of Clearwater for giving us this 2022 S5 Sportback for our car review. If you're already a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Hawkeye community. If not, click that subscribe button, check out the details, the merchandise, and everything we do here at Hawkeye Rides.